From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Brayden Neville.
On today's episode, Coach O is ready to get going in tomorrow's Labor Day Classic. Taylor Powell is ready to experience that game for the first time and speaks about getting prepared for the now officially sold-out showdown with the Toronto Argonauts at Tim Hortons Field. Another newbie to the Labor Day Classic, Terry Godwin, talks about managing all that outside noise and the distractions that surround this game. And Brian Simmons joins the show to get us all prepped for the matchup. It's Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. I'm Brayden Neville, and you're listening to Ticats Today. It's a very rare Sunday episode today, but we got the Labor Day Classic tomorrow. I can't not talk Ticats ahead of the big day, and we're finally here. It's been over a week since the Ticats' decisive victory in BC last week, and it's given us plenty of time to get ourselves all pumped up for this week's game, and it's one that gets marked on the calendar at the start of every season. It's Ticats, it's Argos, it's at home, it's at Tim Hortons Field, and there's nothing like it. Throughout the week, I've been getting questions. I've been hearing the buzz around the city, all these questions. Can the Ticats pull off the upset? Are we going to see the team that we saw show up last week? And all those questions will be answered tomorrow. The Argos are a heavy favorite, a 7.5-point favorite, which is significantly lower than the 10-point favorite they were, or 10-point underdog they were in BC. But anything can happen on Labor Day, and that's been proven year after year. The Cats announced the depth chart for the game, and perhaps the most interesting change is that Joel Figueroa is likely to start on that O-line for the first time since all the way back in Week 2. Aside from that, everything else will stay virtually the same with a couple minor tweaks here and there. Earlier in the week, the club announced that a familiar face will be back on the Ticats roster, Jordan Murray. He started 11 games for the Ticats back in 2021 and went on to spend some time in the NFL with the Colts and the Seahawks. So the O-line getting a whole lot stronger and bigger because if you don't remember, Jordan Murray is 6'9", 325 pounds, making him the tallest player on the team by a couple of inches. And fun fact, he's actually 13 inches taller than Rich Leonard. So a monster coming back to the hammer on that O-line. It's getting some significant help. Coach O spoke about that signing and the upcoming game.
Well, you can only acquire what is available. And so Jordan's familiar with his surroundings here, and, it's a work in progress. And anytime you can add value to your football team, heading down the stretch, you're always looking to do that. So just fortunate that he was open. Him and his wife and his child were open to coming up, and then we just hit the timing just right.
How do you think he'll fit into that O-line?
Well, we'll see. Right now he's just got to get acclimated to the new regime, if you will. And other than that, it's football, right? He's going to be asked to stay in front of the other person, but we've been very pleased with the way our O-line has been. We just look at this as an opportunity to add value to value.
Eric Harris will be the alumnus of distinction for the game against the Argos. A little bit about your time with him and him being honored here on Monday.
It'd be a long show here, a long interview. First of all, Eric, 7 years in the NFL, 3 or 4 with us. His journey is just remarkable. It's an inspiration for everybody. But I think it starts with the person. It starts with Eric, not a football player. That truly is what he did and what he does. It's not really who he is. And Eric, he was just always faithful with whatever was given to him, and I'm sure a lot of people know his story from the potato chip factory, but I showed a clip to the football team of his open workout in Buffalo, and he had an interception there. And then he also had a pretty fantastic game where we played at McMaster against Calgary, where he registered a sack, an offensive touchdown, a defensive interception, and a special teams tackle. And this is a guy that was on and off the practice roster, started at will, moved to free safety, settled in at Sam, never wavered, just did whatever was asked, and just couldn't be more proud of him and is, happy for his family. And to have him back and recognized is something that he earned, but he also deserves.
One day away now from the game. What's the buzz like around the room?
You were at practice. I think there's a lot of excitement, but really excitement to just build off the last game. It's all about preparation. There's no carryover from the last game. Yes, it's exciting. There's more build-up. We've embraced that all week. We definitely understand the history and the rivalry. And shoot, we're playing, record-wise, the best football team in the league. They've earned their spot right now. We're going to have our hands full, but we're looking forward to this challenge.
That was Coach O. Taylor Powell has been getting better and better, it seems, each week. Definitely more comfortable. And he spoke about making his Labor Day Classic debut.
Feeling excited, man. I know it's a big deal around here, but just the next game, and we're excited to keep this thing rolling on offense.
What have you heard from veteran guys about this game and the buzz that surrounds it?
That, this city has a lot of pride, and we take that. We want to play for them. It's, some people work a lot and sacrifice a lot to come to this game, so it's our job to go out there and play well and give them a show.
You seem very poised over the last several games. How do you keep that going here against a Toronto defense? It's pretty good.
I don't know, man. I think I kind of shifted towards loving football. I'm just grateful to play for such a great organization, a great coach, great quarterback, coach and offensive coordinator, and I got a great team around me, man, and just a lot to be grateful for. And I think when you love something, that's kind of where you should play for the love of the game, and that's just kind of where I operate. I don't know if that's kind of the right way to do it, but that's how I do it. So.
That was Taylor Powell following today's walkthrough at Tim Hortons Field. Terry Godwin was here last year, but didn't arrive until just after Labor Day on September 12th. His signing was announced of last year, so he's also in this group of guys that will get to play in their first Labor Day Classic, and Terry can't wait to get going.
It's a lot of adrenaline, a lot of excitement going in, but at the end of the day, I know I got to go out there and play ball. It's a lot of outside distractions that's going to be there because it's a big day and it's a big moment for the city, but at the end of the day, got to go out there and play ball.
What have you heard about this game and the rivalry from veteran guys around the room?
Oh, man, I heard this day is going to be probably one of the packedest, most loudest, best games of the year. And then this type of rivalry it's a real rivalry. This is the main game. This is the game that decides everything for this rivalry. And with that being said, all the rivalries that I've been in over the past, just by the anticipation leading up to this game, I feel like this may be the biggest rivalry I've played in.
You have a day one on a Thursday, I believe. Is it a little bit different, a little weirder week for you?
Now, it is due to the fact that we're kind of practicing over the weekend, and it's kind of a new thing for us. It's the first time we've done it, but, like Coach O says, that's perfect. When there comes adversity or a little change in the schedule, it's perfect. We go out there and handle the adversity.
How has the week gone for preparations in that receiving corps?
Honestly, the week's been very smooth for us. Offense, defense, just as a whole team, it's been very smooth. Offense been flying around, defense been flying around, and the special teams also has been flying around. So, just overall, I feel like the anticipation and everybody's ready to do their job and play ball.
Taylor seemed like he's kind of come into his own over the last few games. Have you noticed him be more poised playing in the last couple games, especially in that BC game?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Over the last couple of weeks, I've seen basically Taylor grow. He's technically a rookie, but you can see him growing up and becoming that leader and that veteran quarterback, even in the huddle and in the meetings. He's in there giving out pointers and telling us what he's looking for. And just in the huddle, he's in there taking control and being that voice that we need. And you can see it in his gameplay as well.
And for those Ticats fans coming out to the game or watching the game at home on Monday, what do you have to say to them?
Come out with the support. Thank you for the support, and go Cat.
That was Terry Godwin. It's time I throw to my guest, Brayden Simmons. Brayden, a big one tomorrow between the Ticats and Argos, a Labor Day Classic game, and a game you've gotten to be a part of several times over your career. What makes them feel different than any other regular season game?
Honestly, I'll say, Brayden, for these games, it's like you just want to win for your city. Obviously for a player, you want to win, but it's like this game carries much weight because, every team, they always have that game where, hey, we could lose every game, but this is the one that you must win. Mm-hmm. Well, this is that game that must be won, in the eyes of our fans. So players, they feel that, and it's just as important to them as it is to the fans.
And in your experience, being a part of these games, playing at Tim Hortons Field and experiencing that rivalry firsthand, what was that like for you?
Well, I'll say this, Brayden. Fortunately, I was able to spend some time playing in Ivor Wynn as well.
Yes.
And when I played there, it was nasty. I'm talking the fight would bust out every game. I mean, fans would be throwing things. It was just like coming from where I came from. I was like, man, like this is a really big game, and
Yeah.
because you don't hear about this when I grew up in North Carolina, so you don't hear about this game. But
Mm-hmm.
once I came to be a part of it, and I realized, its importance, it's like that is a very important game, and with the new rivalry being in Tim Hortons Field, it's even more exciting, because you can hold more people and stuff, and the stadium is more modern. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a great showing. I don't know what the ticket sales are. I'm expecting it to be a sellout. I will definitely
Yeah.
be there, and I'm excited about it.
No, I'm super pumped for this game. I think everyone around Hamilton, there's that little extra buzz or a lot extra buzz. Coming into this game, you have Chad Kelly in that Argos offense that's been really good this year. What does this defense need to do to get him off of his game early and try and get some stops on this Argos offense?
Honestly, I know a lot of people focus on Kelly, but
Mm-hmm.
if you can shut down that run game, man,
Yes.
I think that's what's really been getting them going. With AJ back there, it's just
Yep.
he has great vision, and I feel like he's the type of running back that an offensive lineman loves to play for because he kind of sets you up with the way he reads and runs the lane. So,
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I think that's the most important thing. When you do that, you got to stop that. And I know that's the thing with all offenses, but I believe he's like right behind James Butler as far as
Yep.
third rushing leader. Yeah, so with that said, it's like he's been successful, and I think he's a huge part of their offense that really doesn't get enough publicity.
Yeah, and I feel like he really opens it up for Chad Kelly because you're always so concerned about that run game, and then that gives Chad Kelly that extra bit of time. The Ticats have a pretty good running back too in James Butler, and he's been playing amazing. How does he get going again here, and how does that O line open up some lanes for him?
Well, honestly, they just got to continue that momentum they showed a carry from on the previous game. That was by far not even if they would have lost that game, which they didn't,
Yeah,
but that was still a great offensive play calling game. I felt like it was just a great team win. But
for sure.
offensively, the offensive line, they got it going, and you could see. I mean, as a former lineman, I could see they were out there having fun. They were in rhythm. When you have a back that is not only reading the right holes, but then when he makes contact, he's
Mm-hmm.
willing to fight and get extra yards himself. That really motivates the offensive line. It's like, okay, this guy's putting in the physical work just like us. So
Yep.
I definitely think he's a very important part of the offense as far as getting things going and established.
Another announcement just came out yesterday. Joel Figueroa will be a game time decision to start in this game. He hasn't played for, I believe, since week 2 against the Argos. I could be wrong on that. It's a big guy to have back on that O line. Do you think that really helps this O? I mean, the O line's been excellent, but gives them that extra boost.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Not to date myself, but I was in my I think I was like 3 or 4 years in when Joel came on to the team, and
Yeah.
ever since he was a rookie, this guy was always in the playbook. Like I never met a rookie lineman that knew as much, as I did as my veteran years went by. So
Yep.
I think he'll definitely be good to have his presence out there. It's almost like having an extra center because he is extremely intelligent, and
For sure.
he's also a great player as well. But people don't give him enough credit for his just the cerebral effect from the game.
Talking to him throughout the week, he was pretty careful, pretty tight-lipped about, well, will he play? He didn't want me to say too much, and quite frankly, I didn't know too much, but now seeing that there's a chance he'll play, it's pretty exciting. Taylor Powell, he's continued to have a pretty good season every game, excelling a little bit more, being pretty
hmm
careful with the ball, seeming more comfortable in the pocket. How does he get going?
Honestly, he just keeps doing the same thing he's been doing. I personally feel like the last game he had was the best game he's played all year.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past few weeks, you've heard me mention decision making, and he's doing it much quicker, and you just see him getting used to it. And you got to give him time. Like I said, all of these guys, they're learning a new offense week by week.
Yep.
It's challenging it's almost like they're in training camp in a sense. Like they're learning little bits and bits each week, but they also have to prepare for a new opponent who's been doing the same thing, since the season's been going. So,
Yep.
they have a task ahead of them, but they're doing well. And I think if Powell just keeps playing the way he's doing, and if Butler, that run game can continue to be dominant the way it has been, I really see good things coming for them.
I agree, and both of those guys are the key to that offense. A big win last night for BC over Montreal, which makes this game seem a lot more interesting. The Ticats can make up nearly 2 games here. Does that add a little extra fuel to the fire, or is that impossible? These guys are already too fired up.
I would say I'm pretty sure they're probably too fired up anyway.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when I played, you hated losing to Toronto
Yes.
in any game, but this one's the one game. It's like you got to get this one. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, they may have noticed that,
Yeah.
but they didn't need any more fuel added to the fire. I guarantee those guys are ready.
Does that almost just show how balanced this league is? You go from 1 week, the Ticats dominate the BC Lions, and then a couple weeks before, Montreal beats the Ticats, and it just seems like everyone's able to beat each other. Just shows how balanced this league really is.
Yeah, it does. It does, and it just shows there's really no pick 'em. I mean, because we can be honest, last week a lot of people didn't think Hamilton would win that game.
No, yeah.
And with that said, it's just that's the beauty of sports in general, Brayden. You don't know what can happen. You don't know what someone's experiencing. You don't know if a guy's having an off day or he's having an on day. So I just think that is the beauty of the CFL. It's like there's no team right now that we can say I know for sure they're going to win the Grey Cup. You can say it looks like it, but you never know until the actual playoffs get to rolling.
Yeah, I don't think many people in last year's Grey Cup had Toronto winning it, and then look what happens.
Yeah.
In your experience, what is your favorite memory from these games, from this Labor Day Classic matchup? Do you have a favorite memory? Does anything stick out to you?
Let me see. I want to say, and it's probably, I think we actually lost this game, but it's a memory in general. I remember, I want to say 2012, I believe Chris Williams had broke the most punt return touchdowns in the season.
Wow.
And I think he had 6 punt returns. And I told him before the game, I was like, "You're gonna break the record today." And he was like, "How do you know?" I was like, "I just sensed it," and he broke it. But we did end up losing that game by 3 points. But that's one of my favorite memories, I would say. And I wouldn't say the most, but definitely one of my top 3 favorite times.
Did you feel that sense of like the crowd being somehow louder than a Ticats crowd already is when you were playing in those games?
Yes, I did. Honestly, I think it's a few things. One, the fans want the game so much more than the usual game, and I also think because the game is earlier in the day, people haven't done their daily duties throughout their life and whatnot. It's like they're just coming straight to the game. So I think with that said, fans have a lot more energy, and it is louder in there. Like it really is.
Brian, before we go, give me maybe 1 or 2 key points to a victory here.
I'll say this, Brayden. Defensively, they have to stop that run game, and they have to put pressure on Chad Kelly. They have to get in his face and just make it an uncomfortable day for him. He don't let him sit back there, reading novels or reading the morning newspaper before his passes. Like he needs to have people in his face at all times. And if that's not working, the secondary has to be doing as well too. But I will say, ultimately, they got to stop that run game and just put Kelly in, second and long or, second and medium instead of the second and ones and stuff. I would say offensively, they just got to keep establishing that run game. I believe the new OC, he's done a wonderful job. And I also believe
I agree.
Quarterback, if he just keeps, managing the game, and I don't want to say managing the game because he's made some big plays, but I just want to say, not make many mistakes and just make those decisions quick. Make a decision quick and just keep it on the move. And I definitely see, it's going to be a competitive game. I really think so.
I think so too. The Ticats are a pretty heavy underdog, but like we said, they were a heavy underdog against BC, and maybe they're going to thrive off of that. Brian, as always, been great to have you on the show, and I'm excited to see you at Tim Hortons Field. I'll come say hi, and hopefully we'll get a victory here for the Cats.
Yeah, I'm hoping the same thing as well, Brayden. See you tomorrow, man. Looking forward to it.
Big thanks to everyone for being on the show today. You can get all your coverage for tomorrow's game right here on the Ticats Audio Network. Pre-game coverage starts at 2 o'clock. It's going to be a busy day in the city of Hamilton, and I'm ready to get this game started. That's all the time for me today. I want to thank you for listening to Ticats Today.